Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees. Well, the Yanks have reached the top of the heap. First place, all right, only a small marginal lead over the Tampa Bay Rays, but what you look at is the Boston Red Sox, where they got a much bigger lead, almost double digits. And the Red Sox, it just seems they're not putting it together this season. Maybe, again, just, they had the championship last season. It's a short season, and maybe just a little bit of sophomore jinx. Who knows? And again, Tampa has been surprisingly well with a lot of good pitching and with their funkiness, such as, the spot start and all that stuff. But I still look at the Boston Red Sox more than I look at Tampa Bay Rays, and the fact they have this significant lead over the Boston Red Sox, that's a good sign. Now, I just feel with them at some point, with them, they're going to get hot and they'll probably, catch up to the Yankees. But to have this lead around, just after Memorial Day, because that's kind of when the baseball season starts. Early on, you have a lot of bad weather. It's April, and the stands are empty, and no one's really into it. And people are kind of distracted by, basketball and not really much hockey, but the little hockey finals as well. And then you have, the whole, NFL draft. People talking about that. But really, it's after Memorial Day, once, the draft is over with the NFL. And you almost get into the NBA Finals a little bit, but the weather's nicer and fans are coming out more. And fans say this is really the real start of the baseball season. When you start looking at the standings and the records, where after a couple of weeks in May, you're like, you don't really worry about that too much. Now's the time you look at the record, and now the fact that the Yankees again have a significant lead over the Boston Red Sox, a very good sign. And the fact that they're doing all this without Stanton only played 3 or 4 games. The fact that Andahar played a week and he was gone. Judge played a small handful of games, and there's really no timetable when he's coming back. We haven't seen Didi yet, and we haven't seen a ball thrown by Luis Severino, which is a supposed ace, as well as Danilo Bentantes. Slowly but surely, some of these guys are going to come back, and you've seen that already with Hicks. But just the fact that they have this lead in first place, and you still have 5 or 6 major pieces due to come back, a really good sign. And they've gone on an incredible run with this unit, going 30-10 in a clip of 40 games, and also have won 9 consecutive season series, something they haven't done since the 1998 Yankees. And we'll get into the 98 Yankees a little later, but this general, whether it's the media, whether it's the fans around baseball, they just feel that there's something special about this 2019 Yankees team. I know you got the guys like Gio Urshela that, we don't expect to do well, but just in general, there's something special about them. They're off to this, good run, good start right now, and just the fact that the Boston Red Sox don't look like their usual self. And you just look at the Yankees division, their AL East. There's just a lot of wins there to still get. They still have a lot of games against the Toronto Blue Jays, and they're not a good team. Those should be a lot of easy wins. The Yankees get beat up on them, as well as the Baltimore Orioles. The Yankees have been manhandling them lately. Well, you got a lot more games against them. And if you look back to the Red Sox last season, they had 108 wins, but the reason they did is they went 16-3 against the Orioles. So if you could beat up on these lousy teams, you could pad your wins. So you get to the fact that the Yankees are playing well. Boston Red Sox don't look good right now. Again, baseball is a long season, that could change, but just right now, it doesn't seem enough. You just don't see enough there that, like Chris Sale doesn't look like his usual self. And a lot of those guys just look beat up, and their bullpen is not good at all. That, this could be possibly the Yankee season, at least to get the AL East, and then from there, do something special. Ooh. Now, the Yankees are supposedly kicking the tires on Dallas Keuchel. Now, the reason no one wanted to sign him before June 1st is that if you do sign him before June 1st, you lose your draft pick, whatever the compensatory pick, some fancy word. Whatever, it's after June. Now teams can sign Keuchel without that penalty, so you might see someone make a move for him. Now, as for the Yankees, I still don't think it makes sense. Unless you're telling me that Severino's not coming back, the guy's going to want a boatload of money. He's probably going to want a longer-term commitment, and it's just there's really not enough room for everyone. Where are you going to pitch him? You already have Tanaka. You already have Herman, who's looking great. You have Paxton. You have Heap. You have CC. And again, at some point, Severino's going to come back. So again, you're going to add Keuchel. There's not enough room to go around. Now, again, if Severino's injury is more than they're letting on, then maybe it makes sense. But it just seems a lot of scouts aren't really wowed by Keuchel. His stuff isn't what it was about 3 or 4 years ago. So, again, you take a look at the guy. You have to do your due diligence. But I just don't see them signing this guy. And as for Madison Bumgarner, again, of the two, I'd rather have Madison Bumgarner. Again, he's kind of a postseason beast. But really, he hasn't been all that terrific right now. His record's only 3 and 4. His ERA is a little over 4. For him, that's terrible. Now, again, he's a postseason warrior, which is why you would look at him. But first of all, he has the Yankees on the list of teams he doesn't want to be traded to. But that could just be a little tactic to try to get more money or an extension from them. That's not really a big deal. But it says the San Francisco Giants would want a king's ransom for him. You got to be talking about Clint Frazier and Florial and maybe Herman. I just don't think the Yankees should give away these huge pieces just for this one guy who maybe is not the same pitcher he was again 4 or 5 years ago. So in terms of starting pitchers, I just think the Yankees are going to stand pat. Cross your fingers you get Severino back. Again, yes, they need a bulldog ace, sort of like an El Duque back in the day, or the way Verlander is now. I mean, that's the one thing that loses the Yankee team right now. But Dallas Keuchel isn't that guy. Madison Bumgarner could be that guy, but I would not want to give up a king's ransom for him. Again, just the way he has performed this season, he's been a little better, but he hasn't looked like his old self. I don't think he's worth giving all these players for. Again, this Yankees just stand pat. Hopefully the Severino comes back, and again, the fact that he's not going to pitch a whole season, hopefully he'll have a lot of gas in his arm and he can just blow right through, August, September, and October. But one important piece the Yankees have gotten back is center field and Aaron Hicks, start earning that $120 million they signed him for. And it's important to have him out there because the plan was not to have Brett Gardner as your full-time center fielder. At 35 years old, burning him out like that. Now you can slot either Gardner in the left or just give him a day off and just save himself. And actually you really see it in Gardner's body, getting some big hits, hitting some home runs, a little more life in the body. So this Aaron Hicks just being there, relieves Gardner. And of course Hicks himself, switch hitter with power, something the Yankees could really use. So with these trash things, actually, you don't have to touch the handle. Like, you can just, put your foot down here, and it opens up. Pretty much. Now back to the Yankees. But one player you won't see back this season is Miguel Andujar. Opted to have the season-ending shoulder surgery, which he should have done in the first place. Again, I commend him to try to work hard to get back on the field, but again, partially torn labrum. That just sounds bad. There's no way you're going to play a whole season with that. I mean, either you're going to hurt yourself worse, or you play a few more weeks and then you're going to have the surgery anyway, which just ended up happening. So he's done for the year, and in a way, it's kind of a blessing in disguise. Yes, you're losing a great bat. Again, he's a guy who probably should have won the Rookie of the Year last year, but there's also a liability at third base, and especially a big playoff game. I mean, you would only play about 6-7 innings, and you would have to put a defensive replacement in there. So now you have someone like Urshela, who's like a wizard at third base, or even DJ LeMahieu, who can hold down the fort there at third base. Much better defensively than Andujar. Again, losing a little bit the bat, but still. It's good for him. Let him get healed up fully. And again, the Yankees have options. You have, LeMahieu there, or you have Gio Urshela, and either one of them will be a great option for third base. Now the Yankees will start getting some of these big pieces back, mainly Didi Gregorius, which seemed like he wouldn't be back till about July, August, but he's already playing rehab games, and actually he could be back as early as mid-June, which would be great news for the Yankees. Going to make little things complicated because it's going to go full there. We'll get into that. Stanton. Well, he had a bunch of setbacks. First it was the bicep, and then it was the calf, and then it was the shoulder. But really, this team's looking good right now, and a lot of fans actually are not in a rush to have him back. He will be back at some point. And a Judge really with the oblique, kind of a tricky injury. No real actual timetable on. He's going to start to swing off for T. But he's still really, you're not sure when he's going to come back. But again, with this team playing so well, even Judge, which is a fan favorite, the fans aren't actually in a rush to have this guy back. Now, with Didi coming back in a few weeks, that's really going to cause a bit of a problem. The infield is going to be clogged up. Again, you didn't expect Gio Urshela to be hitting almost 340, and it would be kind of a shame to send him down and trade him off. I mean, he's a hot bat for the Yankees, and he's just been getting a lot of clutch hits, whether it's late in games to start a rally or continue a rally or get a single to tie a game. You really, guys having a special season, you just hate to sort of silence that bat out. But with Didi coming back, there's just not enough room for everyone. I mean, you're going to have to shift Torres back to second. You have LeMahieu, who has, he has more of a resume than Gio Urshela. I mean, he, former batting champion, former Gold Glove player. So even though, Urshela's a little more hotter right now, but LeMahieu's been pretty damn good as well. So of all of them, Gio Urshela's probably going to get the shaft, and it's kind of messed up. But it's Didi Gregorius. He's your guy. I mean, and so you're going to put him there at shortstop, and you're going to put Torres back at second base. Tulowitzki, probably at this point, out of the picture. They gave him a shot. He never really came back, but there's going to be no room for him, so I just don't see any chance he comes back to the team this season. And, he tried, but his body can't hold up. And now you have all these guys in there, and it's going to be crowded. So you can, Boone could do a few things. You could possibly, give Luke Voit a few days off, or, DH Luke Voit, and have LeMahieu play first base, which he can handle. And this is why really no one's in a rush to have Stanton come back, because again, not only want to break up the chemistry, but just this, you have this great young scrappy team that's exciting to watch, and they're playing kind of a little bit of old school baseball, remind you a little bit of the '96 Yankees or the late '90s Yankees overall. Just a lot of situational hitting and stealing a base at the right time and playing good defense. And compared to the Yankees of late, which has just been home runs. Yeah, sure, we love the home runs, but there's just something special about this unit, and guys like Urshela and LeMahieu, these contact hitters that you don't want to trade one, you don't really want to lose one. But again, with Didi coming back, it's Didi's job. And plus, the Yankees are pretty much too right-handed. You need Didi's left-handed at bat. So Didi will be in there. And we'll just see how it plays out. I don't want to see anyone get hurt, but they usually say these things work themselves out, so we'll see what happens. Maybe someone stubs a toe or tears an ACL and is gone for a while, and the problem will solve itself. I don't want that to happen. And again, the Yankees have a good problem because now in Urshela, you do have a chip, or possibly Torres, you have a chip you can trade off. I wouldn't do it, but now the Yankees can do that. And when Didi comes back, I'm sure, he's not going to get off to a great start, and you don't want to beat him into the ground too often, so you can still have some of these guys up, and maybe just one of the bullpen guys you send down just to make room in the 25-man roster. I'm sure Cashman and Boone have been thinking about this for a while, and again, it's a good problem to have, but it's just a shame, Urshela, because he's having this great season, and you'd like to see him get as many bats as possible. The only good news from having all these infielders is that now you're not compelled to re-sign Didi Gregorius, especially if he wants a boatload of money. I mean, you've proven you can win it without him. So, I think the Yankees would re-sign him. They should re-sign him. Again, they need his left-handed power bat, but they've proven they can win without him. So if his agent kind of wants some crazy deal, they can say, hey, look, we do good without you. We could go 2020 with, Torres, who is a natural shortstop to begin with, at shortstop, LeMahieu at second base, with the Yankees signing for, and just have Urshela and Andujar duke it out at third base, and Didi can just go goodbye. I don't think it will get to that. I don't think it should get to that. I think Didi's just a good guy. He's part of the group, so I just think the Yankees will try to resign him. But again, now they're not compelled to because they can prove they can win without him. And again, a lot of people are worried about the fat cats coming back, mainly Stanton and Judge, and they're going to ruin the chemistry of this team and all that. But you really have no choice. I mean, first of all, taking the emotion out of it. And you look at Judge 2 years ago, he was number 2 in the MVP voting, and Stanton is a former National League MVP, a guy who hit 50 home runs. I mean, these are big production guys. I understand, Stanton left a bad taste in everyone's mouth, especially in the postseason, and he strikes out a ton, but they're paying the guy a boatload. He's not going to sit on the bench, so when he's ready to play, he's going to be there in the DH for the most part. The same as Judge. I mean, I think fans obviously want Judge back more than Stanton back, but even with Judge, for example, I mean, he's just what he could bring. No other, Cameron Maynard can't do that. Mike Troutman can't do what he could do. So when he's back and healthy, he's going to be the right fielder. So the Yankees are just going to have to find a way to integrate these guys back. And maybe you don't see as much as the small ball, and fans are going to complain about it, but there's nothing you can do because they're starters, they're great players. So when they're ready to go, they're going to be there in the starting rotation. They're going to be there in the starting lineup, and guys like Cameron Maynard and Troutman, well, hey, good. They get an opportunity to showcase themselves, and maybe, if they get cut, some other team will pick them up. So it's a win-win situation. But, when these guys are ready to play, they're going in there. And the Troutmans of the world and the Cameron Maybins of the world, unfortunately, they're going to get shafted. But one player they shouldn't part ways with is Clint Frazier. Now, look, a lot of people have been talking about lately that, he's good for trade bait, stuff like that. But I would not be in a rush to get rid of the guy. I mean, he has a special at bat. I mean, every time he goes in there, he just cranks home runs. And again, they complain, well, his defense isn't good. He could get better. He's just a good athlete. He's not like this big burly guy who can't walk. He can improve on his defense. And great, this is the last year of Brett Gardner in left field. After he leaves, okay, I know you don't want to hand the job to Frazier because then you'll get a little lackadaisical, but then left field will be open next year and you can just insert Frazier. That'll be a perfect fit. So even for Frazier this year, if there's not enough room on the roster, I would not want to trade him. Put him down in the minors just one last time, and then once Gardner's gone for start next season, you just get insert Frazier. Makes total sense. After 10 years at the stadium, the Yankee symbol and the awnings are starting to fade out. I just can't imagine Big George allowed that to happen. It's a real eyesore. The Yankees really got to clean that up, get some new awnings. I think they can afford it. And Gary Sanchez continues to put together a tremendous season, already hovering around 260, which, these days and age, that's actually almost like hitting 300, up to 18 home runs and 33 RBIs. And it seems like his good hitting's also transitioned to his defense, which has always been a little shaky. Again, you're not seeing as many pass balls. Always had the great arm, making more accurate throws. And it's just funny that when you're putting up with these great numbers, even if you do have a defensive flub here or there, no one's really talking about it, no one's really complaining. And, again, with Judge out and with Stanton out, I mean, he's kind of the de facto right-handed power, bat in the lineup for the Yankees. And he's coming through with a lot of big hits in late game, especially against the Orioles. So see a lot of clutches there. So, he has that cool, calm, casual manner, which, people maybe say it's laziness and whatnot. But I just, again, just to have a catcher that can hit like that is very rare in baseball and very unique. And again, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but if he could just stay on this pace, I mean, ready for his young career, has 88 home runs, which is pretty incredible. I mean, you're talking about, again, his defense isn't the greatest, but if you're going to put up offensive numbers as a catcher, I mean, you're talking about, Hall of Fame-ish type stuff. But one of the Yankees' main straight has been their bullpen, which has been incredible. Even Chad Green, who, was great for the Yankees the past few seasons, got off to a funky start. They had to sit him down, got himself corrected. He's back up here. not fully back to what he was a couple years ago, but looking much better. And he's mixing there with Canely, who's having a good bounce-back season. Ottavino has been a tremendous, great off-season signing. Zach Britton, again, like the Britton sign, and I feel we didn't see the best of him last year. And now that that Achilles is getting strong, you're seeing him as pretty much a shut-down eighth-inning guy. And of course, Chapman having a great season again. Maybe not throwing 105 miles per hour, but 101 I think still gets it done. And the good news is that now Pettitte is going to come back pretty soon. He's starting to do some long throws. Again, they don't have to rush him back, but it is good to get him back in the fold as well as getting Green back to his old form. Because especially like Ottavino, he has thrown a lot of innings so far this season. So you want to offset that a little bit. Just have maybe Chad Green and Pettitte take some more high pressure innings away, which he will. But overall, collectively, this Yankee bullpen, it's deep and it's lethal.
What we do here is go back.
As we said before, the Yankees have won 9 consecutive season series, something they haven't done back since the '98 Yankees. So we're going to have a little fun. I'm not saying this current 2019 Yankees is as good as the '98 Yankees are going to be better, but there's a little interest. Maybe if we compare them. So what we're going to do is we're going to go position by position, rotation by rotation, pen by pen, and just see which is actually the better team, 1998 or this current 2019 team. So let's start behind the dish. Jorge Posada versus Gary Sanchez. Now, both of them are great hitting catchers. Jorge is a switch hitter with power, and Sanchez is a right-handed power hitter, probably overall a better power hitter. Now, the two of them, not really the greatest defensive catchers in the world. Maybe Sanchez has the stronger arm, probably Posada a little better at blocking balls in the plate. But now if you're going to compare both of them, I have to go with Gary Sanchez. Again, Posada's great, switch hitter with power, but Sanchez is just a supreme type of hitter, a guy who can hit 40 home runs per season. Posada, he's more of a 20, 25 home run guy. Again, still pretty damn good. But Sanchez is a lethal, legit 40 home run type of player. Something Posada's not. More of a dangerous bat. So of the two of them, I'm going to go with Sanchez. So that's one for 2019. First base, Tino Martinez. Great defense, left-handed bat versus Luke Voit. The Yankees picked up last season as having the Cinderella career so far. Now, of the two of them, probably Luke Voit has a little more power, but for the total package, I have to go with Tino Martinez on this one. Again, maybe not as much power, but overall a better hitter. But when you take the defense into account, Tino Martinez is probably the greatest first baseman to never win a Gold Glove. Should have won in that year that they gave it to Rafael Palmeiro when he played half the year, kind of a joke. But again, we all love Luke Voit and what he's doing, but for first base, we have to go with the Tino Martinez with that, so that's one for 1998. Okay, second base, Gleyber Torres versus Chuck Knobloch. Now, I know you're going to say, well, Gleyber Torres is playing shortstop this season. Well, we're doing this in mind like everyone's kind of back healthy, and Didi's at short, and Gleyber Torres is at second, which was kind of the plan to start the season. So we're doing Torres versus Chuck Knobloch. Now, the two of them, a little different type of players. Knobloch, again, more of a leadoff type of hitter. Very good defense, works the count, gets on base, steals bases. Torres, more of a power guy. Again, he's not going to hit for 300, but he has a rare commodity of an infielder with power. And the defense, about the same more or less. Maybe Knobloch a little edge. And again, this is the Knobloch before he started getting the yips in 99-2000 when he couldn't even throw a ball to first base. So this is the good Knobloch versus Gleyber Torres. So of the two of them, I'm actually have to go with Gleyber Torres. Again, just the rare feat of a second baseman with his type of power, has great defense, and he's still young. He's only going to go better. So you're going to mark one in the the 2019 column. Third base. Now, in 1998, the Yankees made a trade to get Scott Brosius, who always was a good defensive player, but kind of like this nothing hitter from the Oakland A's, kind of like a 210 hitter with a little pop. But he came over to the Yankees in '98, and it just all clicked in. Maybe because the team was around him, the fact maybe he hit like 9th in the order, not too much pressure. He had a tremendous season. So you're going to put that against what the kind of Yankees had this season, a bit of a mash unit. Kind of started out with like Andujar, then he had Urshela, and you see a little LeMahieu here. So it's kind of a trio. So even though, LeMahieu's a good player, Urshela's having a great season, and Andujar, obviously didn't really get to play much this season, but, he is a type of guy, again, who probably should have won Rookie of the Year last year. Then versus Scott Brosius. Have to go with Scott Brosius, just because, again, played the whole season there, not part of a trio, and in fact, he had a breakout season. batted .300 for the Yankees, 19 home runs, and especially what he did in the postseason. Of course, Game 3 in the World Series against Trevor Hoffman, hitting a big 3 home run, which pretty much sealed that one. I mean, the Yankees went up 3-0 and go on to win. And Brocious, again, later on, hit a big home run again in 2001 against Byung-Hyun Kim. Again, the Yankees lost that series, but again, a heroic home run. So of the two of them, third base, got to go with Scotty B, 1998. Now this is really the most interesting matchup. We're going to take the icon, Derek Jeter, versus Didi Gregorius. Now, it's going to be sacrilege to say this, but overall, Didi's probably the better player than Jeter. Again, in terms of power, defense, you probably would rather go with Didi Gregorius. It's just that Jeter has, he's more of a contact hitter, but Jeter has that presence. There's certain players such as like Michael Jordan, Muhammad Ali, where they just step onto the court of the field of the ring and they just bring a certain presence about them. So overall, again, if Jeter, let's say, played for another team and he wasn't the Jeter of the Yankees, I would go with Didi Gregorius. But overall, it's Derek Jeter, the all-time great. And the one thing that Didi Gregorius doesn't have that Derek Jeter has is just these iconic moments, especially in the postseason. The Jeffrey Mayer home run, the Mr. November home run, the flip play, the catch, the this, the that. I mean, again, Didi has put up a great resume of regular season stats of home runs and RBIs and stuff for a shortstop, which is incredible. And probably defensively, he's better than Jeter. But Jeter is Jeter, so overall, we have to go with Derek Jeter. So mark one now in the 1998 column. Now it's kind of the opposite thing in left field. The 98 Yankees had a whole guys rotating in left field, and Yankees have been a little more consistent. Pretty much, again, with Hicks being back healthy, it would be Gardner in left field as well as being backed up by Clint Frazier versus 1998 Yankees. Had a lot of guys in there. You saw a little Strawberry, you saw a little Tim Raines before he got hurt, saw a little Chad Curtis, who they traded for, saw a little Ricky Leday, who they brought up to the system, and then later on, of course, right in September, Shane Spencer came up, the boy wonder, hitting all those home runs in left field. So we'll take the two left fields and compare them. Have to go with the 98 Yankees, and that, again, they rotate a lot of guys in there, but when you talk about players such as like Dallas Strawberry, Tim Raines, again, didn't play the whole season, but a Hall of Fame type player. And Shane Spencer, who just capped off that magical season by, I know he didn't last long, but he was just kind of like this guy's come up and hit, almost like what Luke Voigt did last year. So for the left field, Gardner, yeah, he's a good player, but he's not a Strawberry. He's not a Tim Raines. So you have to go left field, 1998. Now, center field, similar to shortstop, actually probably the second intriguing matchup you see there. Bernie Williams versus Aaron Hicks. Now, both of them very similar type of players. Bernie probably a little better with the average, Hicks with maybe a little bit of power. Defense, about the same, but overall, Bernie has won some gold gloves. So in this matchup, again, close. Have to go with Bernie Williams. Again, one of the Yankee fan favorites and all that. And again, he's won awards. Again, Aaron Hicks has never won a gold glove. Again, Aaron Hicks is a great defender, has a strong arm, probably a stronger arm than Bernie. But overall, you got to go with Bernie. Just, again, the batting average, and we see him, he's done it. He's hit some big postseason home runs, played a lot of postseason games, go to postseason average. Hicks, again, a lot of great potential, and he's young. Maybe he could get there someday, but he just, at that point, 98, would not have the resume that Bernie did. So of that matchup, have to go again with 1998. Shifting over to right, another good matchup here. Paul O'Neill, former batting champion from 1994, versus Aaron Judge, probably the new team captain, which will be probably announced in a couple of years. Of the two of them, again, two great players, but clearly you have to go with Aaron Judge here on this one. I mean, Aaron Judge, he's the type of guy, again, 2017, number 2 in the MVP type voting, and as good as O'Neill is, again, O'Neill, a pure hitter, good solid defense, a strong arm. He can't do what Aaron Judge can do. I mean, O'Neill is not an MVP type player. Aaron Judge is. So of that one, we have to mark one down in the 2019 column. So let's get off the field on the bench. So we're talking about the DH. Well, back then the Yankees had Chili Davis. Good switch hitter with power, but again, he would play no outfield at all. I mean, you talk about a pure DH versus Giancarlo Stanton. Now, I know, again, Stanton's played a lot this season, and Yankee fans aren't really too happy with him right now, but overall, he's a guy, an MVP type player, and yes, he can play some outfield at least, half the time, at least 1/3 of the time. Of the two of them, clearly, I know even though he hasn't played much this season at all, you have to go Giancarlo Stanton. Again, a former MVP type player, a guy can hit 50 home runs. Good as Chili Davis is, again, a switch hitter with power, he's not up there with Stanton. I mean, he's not a 50 home run guy. He's not an MVP type of player. So in this situation, DH, we can mark one in the 2019 column. Now let's go to the pitching. Let's start with the starters. The 1998 rotation, which you'll talk about some historic postseason performers such as David Cone, El Duque, David Wells, Andy Pettitte, and even Hideki Arabi. Yes, Hideki Arabi, remember him? Well, 1998 was overall probably his best season. Went 13-9, ERA of 4.08, which for him, not too terrible. Again, they really kind of left him off the postseason roster because you don't need 5 starters. And you take that against what the Yankees throw out there. Now, let's just assume Severino comes back and healthy. You would have Severino, James Paxton, Tanaka, Happ, and CC. Of the two of them, again, the 2019 starting rotation, if all they're healthy, is still pretty darn good. But to compare that to the group from 1998, there's no comparison. You have to go at the 1998 rotation. Again, Andy Pettitte, one of the great postseason performers of baseball history, and even like people like Cone and Wells, who are nothing to sniff at, and El Duque, who 98, 99, and 2000 for the Yankees. Again, another tremendous postseason pitcher. So overall starting rotation, we have to go with 1998. And coming out of our pen is our final matchup, the 1998 bullpen versus the 2019 bullpen. Now, in 1998, you had Ramiro Mendoza, you had Mike Stanton, you had Jeff Nelson as the setup man, and of course, Mariano Rivera, the greatest closer of all time. And again, a closer who could actually give you 2 innings versus what the Yankees have now, a long, deep bullpen, which includes Chad Green, Tommy Kahnle, Adam Ottavino, Della Bontantes when he gets back, Zach Britton, and Aroldis Chapman, of course. Now, this is going to be an interesting matchup, and I know Mariano Rivera, again, the greatest closer of all time, perhaps the best bullpen of all time, and now a recent Hall of Famer, versus this group. But this group is just so long, and it's a deep bullpen. You have to go with 2019. I know it's kind of seems sacrilegious to not vote Mo in there, but again, if you just look at this Yankee pen, I mean, they got like 6 or 7 different lethal arms that could possibly maybe even be closers for other teams. That the Yankees have all these guys. And if you look at Aroldis Chapman, yes, I know he's no Mariano Rivera, but he's nothing to sniff at himself. Again, a legit fireball type closer who throws 100 miles per hour. So in this final matchup of the bullpens, I'm going to have to go with 2019. So we gave you all the position between the two teams. We gave you catcher, first base, second base, shortstop, third base, left field, center field, right field, DH, starting rotation, bullpen. Now, were you keeping score at home? Well, don't worry, I was. 6 for 1998 and 5 for 2019. So you would figure it'd be that way again. You talk about the 1998 Yankees, one of the greatest teams of all time. But again, they only won by 1 point. So this shows the potential of this 2019 team. Again, if they get everyone together on the field, a lot of potential there. Hope you enjoyed the show. Again, remember to check us out on YouTube, Section 420 Talkin Yankees. Subscribe to us and enjoy the start of your summer.